straw. 1933, when it all went down, the government bankrupt, no dough to be found. In force the bankers with solution number one. Let us print your money for you and your problems will be done. People gave up all they go, they really didn't have to. Watching all the rights and liberties run past you. Out come the gold, in come the debt. Foreclosure debts, deathbed regrets. Stimulus for the penniless, hedge fund the bets. Double down the debt, put a lien on the jet. Red notice on the president, Bernie made off the check. Read is good, Wall Street got the world by the neck. The financial drought, time clock running out. Euro, Amero, what the hell is that about? Oh yeah, the dollar bill that's attached to the scam. An artificial entity called the straw man. Look, I don't really care how much dough you got. I don't really care how blinked out your watch. I don't really care. I just wanna know if you're gonna be the straw man. Motherfucking cop break through the front door. Or I don't really care who got your check. I would only care if my check was my check. I don't really care if you're down with the plan because that's not me. That's my straw man. Is it me? Is it me? Or the man is straw? Secret war. Is it me? Or the man is straw? Secret war. Is it me? Or the man is straw? Secret war. Is it me? Or the man is straw?
I don't really care how big your butt is, and I don't really care how long your hair is. I don't really care how many niggas you fuck, and I don't really care how many bitches you suck. Are you a nigga who run over bitches, squeeze a gun? When shit gets hot, pop off and cause drama. Fuck up your own karma. Trade your dough for gold for a couple records sold, or A's or B, choose C, then you're free. Are you a walker or stalker, initiator or waiter? Behold, the pale horse is running with force. Better duck and run, Cujo, 10K on deck. Better check for jet flex, make it messy like Jesse. So travel like kings and queens. Lost books of Yankee, come test me. Love with me, ride with me, build with me. Straight healing, Venus come Venus. I'm straight Venus.
Look, I don't really care how much dough you got. I don't really care how blinked out your watch. I don't really care. I just wanna know if you're gonna be the straw man. Motherfucking cop break through the front door. Or I don't really care who got your check. I would only care if my check was my check. I don't really care if you're down with the plan because that's not me. That's my straw man. Is it me? Is it me? Or the man is straw? Secret war. Is it me? Or the man is straw? Secret war. Is it me? Or the man is straw? Secret war. Is it me? Or the man is straw? Look, I don't really care how much dough you got. I don't really care how blinked out your watch. I don't really care. I just wanna know if you're gonna be the straw man. Motherfucking cop break through the front door. Or I don't really care who got your check. I would only care if my check was my check. I don't really care if you're down with the plan because that's not me. That's my straw man. Is it me? Is it me? Or the man is straw? Secret war. Is it me? Or the man is straw? Secret war. Is it me? Or the man is straw? Secret war. Is it me? Or the man is straw?
Peace to those human families of the planet Earth. You now tuned in live to Super Heru Radio. I am your host, Aseer the Duke of Tears, along with my co-host, Samita, the Empress of 10,000 Years, my brother, Saga Assad, all of you, human families of the planet Earth, Super Heruians, everybody who loves banging on the devil, everybody who loves telling the truth to shame the devil, everybody who acknowledges that there may be an aspect of devilishment in them and that are working to exercise that from their person. I definitely salute you. I definitely say keep up the good work. And the longer that we endure, the longer we withstand, the less they can endure. You know what I'm saying? And I want to give love and light to all of those who may or may not have lost a loved one in the past day since the last time we spoke. We definitely want to give condolences and all of that to those who definitely deserve it. But just know that they have now become gods and goddesses on the other side of the realm to be able to help do the work, which again is the great work. Those people who are in that whole Freemasonic would understand if you knew the right degrees, you would know that the great work or the greatest work to be done on earth is to take the devil off the planet. You don't know who or what the devil is, then you might be actually committing suicide because you might actually be the devil that you got to exercise and get out. And that's real talk. devilishment is not people who are melanated are not exempt from it, just like anybody else that's not melanated is exempt from it. All of us have the ability to be our own God and our own devil at the same time, sometimes simultaneously, due to the erroneous way that this society has groomed people to think that they are out, or has made people believe that they are really not their body, that they are not themselves, that they are something to be itemized and put into specific categories and lists, such as Negro, Black, Colored, West Indian, Puerto Rican, African, Negro, Colored, Christian. You know what I'm saying? Like bugging. Our people are still bugging. It's 2014, and we all still, well, not all of us, but a lot of us are still fence-sitting with this real spirituality versus religion shit. And it's killing us. It's strangling us. I had to deal with somebody today whose mate committed suicide. Why? Because everybody in his family, especially, I guess, the women in his family, never gave him anything direct in terms of contravention or direct help. And so his queen, when he was going through and battling his depression based upon the abuse that he received as a child by members of his family, you see what I'm saying? It basically pushed the brother to the edge. You know what I'm saying? And one thing that we don't talk about in the black community is how high the suicide rate is. Everybody talk to you about all of the shootings and the killings and the molestations and all that, but nobody's talking to you about the fact that the suicide rate amongst black males is about 61%. Understand what that means? You know how many people that is? That means 6 out of every 10 people you see, brothers you see, is contemplating or thinking about taking their own life because they feel utterly alone. And it really pains me and it makes me upset because there are people who will blame this brother, you know what I'm saying, within his own family. I had to wind up leaving the vigil just due to the ignorance that I see these people that when I was counseling him, bless the dead, was telling me was the ones that was doing this. And these same motherfuckers standing up asking, what happened? How did it happen? Why would he do that? It took everything in my power to not go ham on that shit, on these people. But again, it's not my place because I'm not in the family, in regards to who or what. We have to be held accountable for what and what we say. But I thank Allah's grace and wisdom that I have a platform like this to be able to express myself and vent all of our anger with bullshit like this. What's the use of a nationality if you are coming from a plantation mentality? Because believe it or not, his family, whatever, is generationally conscious, meaning that they had generationally conscious people in there going all the way back with God. So what happened in his generation? Well, his mother forsake Moorish science to marry a Christian preacher, right? That's what she chose to do. And then his father, who was and still is a noble Moor, she kept him from him and used the preacher, you see, and used the preacher's connections or whatever to find ways to keep him from the son. But again, this brain dead chick is not even peeping game that the preacher might very well be the one that was molesting him, right? But that happens so often in our communities and in our families and stuff like that that we still not realizing that it is not about whether you're melanated or not anymore. You know how many melanated devils I know and have come across in my career, in my life? A lot. And guess what? I checked. There ain't no books on that. There ain't no way to nationalize that. There ain't no way to purge yourself from ritualistic abuse other than by accepting that it happened to you and dealing with who did it. You know how lucky certain people in this reality right now in this country, or as well as this so-called epoch of time, the modern time that we in. You know how lucky some people are that they can actually live in this time, because this is the only era. This is the only era in world history where lame-ass niggas then came up to the point where they done overshadowed the real niggas. And I know how black people are, as well as Moors. Oh, we can't be using nigga, we can't be using black and all that. You know what? I'm over all that, man. Anybody who has ever listened to Super Heru Radio know that I know the difference between triple stage darkness black and Negro black and colored black. So if you hear me use the term black or whatever, I done made such an effort to make the delineation in the context that I don't think people should be bringing that shit to me no more. That's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be nitpicky and get into all of that, that's cool. But guess what? Whether you black, white, Moorish, or whatever, they killing everybody wholesale. They don't give a damn what your nationality is. They don't give a damn none of that until you give a damn enough to do something about it. A man who won't stand up for what's right will fall for anything. And so will a woman. But our people have been have allowed themselves to be conditioned to such a meager aspect of complacency that they have no real understanding, that they have almost given up. They've gotten so used to this whiteness, and this has only been going on since integration. This has only been going on in this country for maybe the past 80 years. Social Security ain't even that old yet. You got grandmothers, grandfathers that's older than this shit. You understand? But now they acting like that's the only thing you can do. That's the only way that you can be successful in the United States is by giving up all aspects of culture, giving up the soul, giving up anything that's important to you, debasing yourself, debasing your family, debasing your race. And then you can win. You can get your money. This weekend has been an explosion of so-called heterosexual niggas rocking goddamn dresses all the time. That's a Scottish rite ritual. I don't know if you know, but that's a Scottish rite ritual. But according to Masonic History or Coyle's Masonic Encyclopedia, the Scottish rite has nothing to even do with traditional Freemasonry. That shit came up after the Civil War by your man Albert Pike, who happened to be the homosexual worshiper of Lucifer and the founder of the Ku Klux Klan. But coincidentally enough, he was a brigade lieutenant under John Drew, who was the Confederate Cherokee, a.k.a. Drew Ali's father. So you mean to tell me that there ain't some sort of ancestral connection in what's going on with that? I tell dudes all day, Moorish rights over Scottish tights. You know what I'm saying? You black people promoting that shit to you like that's the way to go. Tell them, well, I heard on Super Heru Radio that you, as a Scottish Rite person, is actually also a seventh or fourth vow Jesuit. And you know what the Jesuits are the fourth vow? They have pledged their whole existence to rape, kill, torture, strangle babies with their umbilical cords, everything in the name of the Pope, to never allow the Moors to rise again. That's in the damn vow, the real vow. The original one that was hooked up to the 1493 Intercataria. But me as a so-called melanated person who happens to be Irish American here, I got to be around and I got to turn on the TV and I got to watch all these brain-dead-ass niggas who came out talking how great the prophet was and all this other shit. I got to watch these niggas now double-take because they getting money from whatever clannish or institution they got to deter people from their real nationality. And then people hit me up like, yo, you should go, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to waste my time on these reprobates. I'm not going to waste my time on these infidels, because that's what they are. Anybody that's screaming to be heard needs to be paid attention to. You heard? Because those of us who are in the spirit and in the know that this thing is a cycle. And as we evolve through the endless universe in our so-called epoch around the so-called sun, We are beset on all sides by people who don't want us to not even have your let's get beyond even your nationality. Let's go beyond your birthright and inheritance. Let's take it to real simple shit. In the end, most people, especially when they're dealing with original people, black, they don't even want you to be happy. Niggas don't want you to be happy. When was the last time you thought about happiness? When was the last time you put yourself in a position to be truly happy? Do you know why they don't want you to be happy? Because happy is actually a goddess. Happy is the goddess of the Nile. The Nile represents the waters that flow up and down, right? These waters are also synonymous to the internal waters. The Sea of Reeds, which is the space in between your brain, your left and right lobes. That's the true Nile. That's the Red Sea or the Sea of Reeds that had to be parted. You understand? These niggas got you all twisted. They got you in a position where you really think. Matter of fact, let me show you how brain dead these Negroes are. Let me read something to you. Somebody posted this on Facebook, and big up to the brother who posted it. If I had your name, I'd say what's up, but you know who it is. He posted this based on some shit he saw on Instagram that this chick wrote. When this conscious person tried to put this chick on to some sort of knowledge or whatever, trying to basically take her out the crib, right? She said, first of all, boy, don't you ever come on my page disrespecting my God like that. I don't need your evil devil worshiping self telling me that I can't believe in Jesus. And you need to stop talking about slavery. That was God's way of saying that we deserve to worship him. Slavery happened to us because we were sinners and worshiping other gods and not the real God. We were stupid when we was in Africa worshiping dirt and rocks. So anything good about slaves, the good thing about slavery is that we were given a choice to accept God's love. Did I also mention the Bible taught us how to read? Huh? What you got to say about that? And the Bible gave slaves happiness, so when they died, they would know they would go to heaven. Slavery was just a trial that we had to face because all God's children must suffer like Christ did on that cross. The Bible makes me a strong woman because I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You are weak because you only have Satan on your side. Now get out of my page before I block you when you come to a black Christian woman's page. So whatever, I'll pray for you because you need Jesus in your life. Now, when I said on the show that the brain-dead black woman is the new white man, a couple of people sent me an email on some pissed off shit. And, of course, they was black women. But, again, they was brain-dead. I didn't say all black women. I'm talking about the brain-dead ones, like this bird right here. Then the brother wrote, praise white Jesus. He can make an entire race of people hate themselves and love their slave master. So how you going to tell me that you don't hate yourself when every other day you figuring new ways to save up money to get new hair and all this other shit? The new shit is the virgin hair they want. You know why they call the weave that you get virgin hair? They call it that because they harvest the hair from little Indian girl virgins before they go through the ritual of being married to people who are old enough to be their father or grandfather and then get raped by these same Hindu, Indian-type people. Then they take that hair, all the trauma in that hair, and then come and sell it to you and wonder why you crazy. Or they killing horses, yaks, and zebras. How many people knew that some of the weave hair that you're getting is actually coming from zebras? So based on black women, brain-dead black women's vanity, thanks, Madam C.J. Walker, right? Thanks, Oprah and the rest of these people, right? Based upon that, They have created a quad-billion-dollar industry that subsists on the rape, right, and head shaving of little girls, right, as well as the wholesale slaughter of zebras, horses, and yaks. What you think the karma for that's going to be for you, sister? Same thing, because you know what? Niggas is getting perms too. Niggas is getting weaves too. Getting the same hair. You and your man now in the beauty parlor. That's what you want? That's what you want? Niggas sent me a clip of all these niggas in dress, and one of these, the newest niggas is Dante Mose, a.k.a. Yasin Bey. Of course they're going to get some nigga who just decided to be that. And this is my man. Like, I know this nigga. You dig what I'm saying? I'm keeping it that real. I know this dude. You dig what I'm saying? His pops wouldn't have had him on that shit. His mom's, come on, man. Like, I know your mom's, man. She don't want you to be in no goddamn dress, man. Real talk to Lord Jamal for actually being a man and saying that. And who comes to defend him? Omar F. Marlon Wayans, gay ass, white chick ass Marlon Wayans. Why does it get me heated? Because the fact that we in 2012 are even dealing with anything like this, with all the shit that's going on in the world. Do you know what's happening in the Ukraine right now? Do you know that the Chinese have been doing war games in Hawaii since last August? Right now. They've been doing it. Do you know that BP, the company that did the Gulf spillage and all that, do you know that one of the biggest supporters of the private prison industrial complex, that they have stock in almost prisoners out here? Did you know that McDonald's had stock in them? Did you know that Sony, right, Epic, right, Motown, do you know that all these niggas, that all these labels have stock in private prisons? And you wonder why these niggas constantly make prison music for you? Oh, but you know, niggas is paid. Niggas is getting it. Niggas is getting it. No, yeah, they getting it. They getting it all right. And I don't want you to, the people, I don't want you to misconstrue my passion about this for anger. Because there's a part of me that's not even angry about this shit. Because as a Moor, I know if you put yourself in a position to be a slave, there ain't a goddamn thing I can do to help you get out of it until you want to help yourself. That's why niggas really hate Moors. Keep it real. Because we not only enslaved the Neanderthals from the time that we walked them across the hot Arabian desert into the caves of West Asia over 2,200 miles, and then locked them up in the caves of Europe for over 60, however many thousand years. It ain't just because of that. It ain't just because that we went. It ain't even just because of the fact that we, up until the modern era, 1400s, had our foot on these niggas' necks, that they couldn't do nothing. It ain't even that. It's the fact that we give a man what his hand called for. If the man's hand called for a shake, that's what he should get. If it called for a slap, then that's what it should get. Because each man chooses his own level of involvement when it comes to his own life. You ever notice when you're a conscious Moor and you walk into a cipher, no matter how conscious and red, black, and green and hotep who it is, niggas just stop talking? I have. Maybe that don't happen for everybody, but I think it do, especially those nobles that's really on point, that's really doing what they supposed to do, and not getting thrown off by all of this clandestine material that these niggas is spouting to you at these bullshit-ass debates and lectures that ain't got nothing to do with the reality of the case. While these niggas is over here trying to get you to decide what your true birth and nationality is. You know what's happening in Spain right now? Right now. You know what's happening in Spain right now? The descendants of Moorish Muslims demand the right to return to Spain. You heard? After the Spanish government approved the law on February 7th, February 7th, God, that would allow the descendants of the Sephardic Jews expelled from the country in 1492 to seek Spanish nationality without requiring them to relinquish the citizenship in their other countries. Muslims are demanding the same right. But this is the G. This is how they flipping it on you. The Sephardic Jews are the Moors. They wasn't no damn white people. The only white people that was there was were the raised up Mamelukes who were taken out as from the Khazarian empires, from the Urals or the Straits of the Dardanelles. You can't tell me I don't know the history, okay? From the Straits of the Dardanelles, and brought you all the way up there through the Almohad dynasty into Granada to become the scribes, to become the usuries that we would use to process those so-called Neanderthals or other Khazarians, or I would say, quote-unquote, Protestant white people who was being moved back and forth through the slave pits and all of that in Saleh and Tangiers and all of that in Algiers. Because that's why the white people, that's why regular Caucasian people hate Jews. Because the so-called Jews were the ones who the Moors used to get the ransom for those so-called noble Neanderthal or Mamelukes that were tied to other so-called Moorish or Spanish nobilities to get the ransom. And then if they got the ransom, they could keep at least 5 to 10 to 15% for finding them. That's where the term finder's fee come from. Moore told me the other day, he was like, yo, well, I don't think you should, it's cool. I mean, it's cool you do the knowledge and you be really putting it out there, but, charge it for knowledge? I said, what? I don't charge for knowledge. I've been doing free lectures for 3 hours for 365 days for the past 7 years by myself. I don't want it to be like that, but in order for me to preserve the integrity of this space, I can't vouch for nobody else. That's how garbage this shit is now. Think about where the conscious community was 10 years ago, and look where it is now. With all the beef and the bullshit that was going on 10 years ago, was more organized and more sincere than it is now. But you support them. Maybe not super Heruians, but hey, a lot of y'all supporting them. Still going to these bullshit debates. Still getting riled up and entertained, but ain't nothing coming from it. All they doing is discouraging you more. That's like going to lectures now, for real talk, is like going to the gym to work out, but instead of you working out, you sit there and watch somebody else lift the weights. That's what that shit is. See what I'm talking about? See what I'm talking about? They ain't doing that to nobody else's show because niggas, they not really talking about nothing. And I'm not talking about everybody. Again, I'm talking about the people I'm talking about. Niggas say what they want. I'm in the field, man. I'm trying to help people who's Moors, who's literally committing suicide because they don't see no point in this shit no more. This is the wages that these debates and shit is. I'm seeing it. Niggas is killing themselves. Because the one thing that they found faith in, another nigga who they was watching tapes with and all that, they played some emphasis on what they saying. This nigga lost all faith in his own self and took his own life. Where's the DVDs on that? Where's the lectures on that? Where's the Health Institute and all the shit these niggas want to do? Act like they doing. Where's the revolution in that? Get the fuck out of here, man. They playing with you. These niggas is playing with you. And then you got to such a degree of being played with, you think the play is actually the game. While they over here trying to tell you that you are not a more, that you don't exist. Right now, Muslim groups all over the world are demanding the right of return. A law approved by the cabinet, but still needs to be ratified by the Spanish parliament. Muslim groups called on the Spanish government to grant the Spanish citizenship for descendants of Muslims or Muslims who were expelled from Spain during the Middle Ages. On February 7th, they let the Sephardim go. That's the first step. That's the first alley-oop. So you see why these niggas don't want you to get your shit corrected? So that way on everything that you got, this or that. Because what this means is if shit pop off here, you got somewhere to go, nigga. Because you ain't listed as a nigga. You ain't listed as no property. You ain't listed as a black, Negro, colored 14th Amendment citizen. You ain't listed as none of that shit. You got the right to go to a foreign embassy and get the fuck up out of here because you're an international person. But no, these niggas want you. Yo, you just keep reading the Circle 7, brother. That's it. That's all you need. Keep reading these please reading these 1 to 40 and 1 to 14 and 1 to 10, brother. You don't need to read nothing else. Keep reading this Bible. That's it, man. Everything else is bullshit. Yeah. It is bullshit. These niggas is convincing people that Moors don't exist. And I, with my own knowledge, know-how, filled out the Declaration of Domicile, got me listed in the Moorish Science Temple of America, and instead of living in Florida, I live in Al-Andalusia in Ecclesiastical District number 3. And I sent it to them on parchment paper, and I had it sealed with the Moorish seals on it, and I printed the whole shit in red. These niggas not only filed it, accepted it, they sent me the original copy back stamp, the original that I sent to them stamp. They said they made a copy of it and put it in the files, and they sent me another copy for free. So that means, again, Moorish Science Temple of America 2A incorporated into the Moorish Science Temple of America, it does not exist in Florida. It exists in Al-Andalusia. So now when I go to Spain and say, hey, I live in Al-Andalusia, go ahead. I live in Al-Andalusia, and they check the records of Florida, they going, no, because what? Guess what? Old Florida used to be Spain. And the niggas who set it up look like me, not like Antonio Banderas, okay? Not like Mark Anthony, okay? They having Moors give up their birthright for a loaf of bread when manna comes from heaven. You got Moors in this, and then you got the other ones. Then you got all of the bullies, right? The skinheads, you know, the RBGs or any other clique. Anybody telling you what we should do, how we should do it, but nobody got a direct way to do it. You got these niggas. We are the most spiritual people on the planet, which means we have the power to call the elements. Read about Sun Ra, the one who inspired the man Moor, the Moor who inspired Earth, Wind, and Fire's people. Sun Ra was right there on Kingston Avenue, my nigga. That nigga, they said, well, walk out on the street, and it was raining. And Sun Ra said, y'all want it to stop raining? They said he would point up to the sky and say, stop, stop. More than once, on different days. People made it a thing with him. He could stop it or start it. You ain't never heard of him. But you heard of his students, Maurice White, Earth, Wind, and Fire. You know who they are, right? Guess who put them on? Guess who gave them the knowledge? Same thing with the Haitian Revolution. You know who really started the Haitian Revolution? Bookman. And you know what Bookman was? A Moor who could read, who was traveling with the Quran. That's why they called him Bookman, to the point when the cracker wanted to take it from him. And when I say cracker, I'm not talking about just a so-called phenotypical white man. I'm also talking about the so-called light-skinned mulattoes that was working with these crackers to do that. The ones who eventually would become Dominican and all that. Toussaint and them was fighting for the whole island, the whole thing, for everybody. But nah, the mestizos, they was trying to get in with the Spanish because the Spanish had an ultimate vendetta against the Moors. And Bookman, in order to stop him, they burned the book, and he wouldn't let it go, to the point that the book actually was imprinted on his body. A Moor. He was not a Christian. And he was from America, because they said that he was imported from England, but there was no England in the 1700s, late 1700s, early 1800s. So that means they was talking about the Eastern Seaboard, New York, New England. These people married into our bloodline, man. They got it twisted. You watching this nigga, other niggas playing J Electronica. This nigga, he another one. We know him too. This nigga going doing the same dirty shit that these other Moors did that got us in here in the first place. But what do other Moors do? Oh, they rationalize it, right? They justify it, right? Oh, well, you know, he just flipping back on them. You know what I mean? He going into the Rothschild bloodline and you know, throwing a plan off that they have against us. Oh, yeah, nigga. You see why even the term nigga is still around? You see why I don't have no problem using it? You understand? Because that's who I'm surrounded by. Again, when I say that, I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about everybody who it apply to. You dig? I'm not like these other ones, man. I'm not like these dudes. I'm not like none of them. That's why you don't see me with none of them. None of them. You dig? And the ones sometimes I want to be on and do stuff with wind up dealing with these niggas. So again, you dig what I'm saying? Like, what are we supposed to think? Like, the whole beef, the beef with Ja Rule really also not only dealing with the whole tranny thing that was all that, but there was another side of that. The other side of that was that this nigga was cool with the dude who robbed him. And even if he didn't know, based on some street shit, you know, if this nigga, okay, I'm walking down the street, I see the dude who robbed me, he's chilling with this dude who I was talking to and trying to do a record with. So even if he don't know nothing about it or whatever, I got to assume he do. If I'm a man, you see what I'm saying? So really, Ja was in the right in that aspect of the beef. And if we're looking at those two so-called archetypes, because we can't call them men in the sense, because they are really used as archetypical agendas, things that we should focus on. But what I'm trying to use them is as an example of how the manipulated Negro, who has been given illusionary power through fiat notes and debt notes, will allow that power to constitutionally, to break down the original Constitution to accept anything based upon the flowing of this money. Therefore, the money is the ritual that keeps this whole thing going and the belief in it. But money, according to Congress, is gold and silver. So you can't be dealing with money if you're dealing with fiat currency. However, when in Rome, one must do as the Romans do until you can annex an aspect of Rome, you see what I'm saying, or get enough money to turn Rome into what it is you need it to be. And let's be clear, Rome, the so-called state that existed for its little tenure, was shut down by the Germans, Visigoths and all of that, who were under the jurisdiction of the Moors. So this don't mean the Moors are evil or all good. They can't be. They couldn't be to get shit done. As nice as I want to be, and as nice as I have been, and as gracious as I have been to people who I've done things for and built with and given knowledge to, who really I knew at the time didn't deserve it. But I'm still going to give them the benefit of the doubt as a noble. And they turn out to do exactly what I knew they was. Therefore, now they are now excommunicated. You understand? That's where excommunication comes from. We don't do that. We don't do that. Black people will stay and keep people around them that they know are there to destroy them. Dog got sense enough to disregard its own feces. Even a dog. You beat a dog to a point. You could beat a dog to a point where it no longer looks at you as the master. That's when you got to worry. Because all bets is off. We are vastly approaching that time, and everything is opening up for us based upon the international channels that were set up by our prophet, whether you acknowledge him or that as that or not. I could really give a damn at this point. Hold on, I got to get him out the bathroom. He goes out, I'm getting out. Focus on going to sleep. Peace. So, yeah, on February 7th, the Spanish Justice Minister Alberto Ruiz Gallardón, right, said that under the new law, anyone of Sephardic heritage should have the right of Spanish citizenship without taking into account his or her current religion. The first cosmopolitan city that ever existed in the world was Andalusia. For the fact that we let everybody live there. That was the blueprint for America. That's why after the capitulation of Granada in 1492, they followed the trade route of where they had connection to. They didn't go, the Spanish didn't go to New York. They didn't do that. They went through the South. The British went to New York because they had a direct relationship with the Lenape, because they were the same people. If the Moors invaded from North Africa, meaning America, went up into Spain in 711 and was up until 1492, that means from 711 until 962, which was the founding of the Holy Roman Empire, the Moorish Holy Roman Empire centered at Bavaria. That means that those Moors who peopled the original nobility of the Holy Roman Empire were descendant and a part of those same Moors who came in during the 7th century from North Africa, which means Morocco, but also means the Al-Maghreb, Al-Maghrebia, which is the Morocco of the farthest west. Guess where that is? You should see, next time somebody asks you where you're from, especially if they Arabic or Middle Eastern, tell them Al-Maghrebia, and look how they look at you. But you wouldn't know because you believe you are African. You believe you an Egyptian. You believe you a Negro, a Puerto Rican, a West Indian. You believe that shit. You believe it. You mean to tell me in Africa, where people of melanated hue are surrounded with each other every day, all you see is other original people. You mean to tell me that there's still people there who are pumping bleaching cream and interracial marriage and adoption and gay marriage with white, specifically white European people who leave their tribe, who leave their families to never go back to their own people, to marry some white woman, to marry some white man in whatever European city they live in, and never have no real connection, or never tell her that you have 3 wives back home with 15 children. This is what these Africans is doing because they don't become Africans until they get here. And I know it's true because my brother who's from Africa told me. Not my literal brother, my brother from another mother. He confirmed it. The first thing Africans do when they see me is say, oh, you're not African. I said, no, I'm North African. You know what I'm saying? The Moors are the nobility and the royalty and the theocratic aristocracy of the African race. So suck it, haters. That's what it is. That's what it is. Maybe let me be less cocky and less egotistical. That's what it is to me. And thus far, it's working for me. Because I'm doing what the man said to do, which is to when you keep the prophet out front, Allah is out front. And if Allah is out front, Allah is out front. Because to me, as a Muslim, they work hand in hand. Because as you can see, even the Spanish government recognizes the fact that me as a Moor, as a Muslim, as a Sephardic Hebrew or Jew, has the ability to be a part of all the religions of the world because my ancestors was the one that ordained and gave them a piece of it so they could rock. So all you Kemites, all you people that really spout how Kemet and Hotepu and all of that, that's great. But you wouldn't have none of that knowledge. None of that knowledge if it wasn't for niggas wearing feathers and turbans with jewels and feathers and shit in the front, with scimitars, holding it down, preserving it, using Caucasian wild Germanians to go in and break shit down the same way Abraham had and Imhotep had to create the pig to be able to put up into the mountain to get all the dead carcasses before they could even come in there and bring the civilization. That's why I always say it. Remember, you heard it here first. Hip-hop is the poor man's Moorish science. Because through hip-hop, we was exposed to Rakim. Can nobody listen to Rakim, Brand Nubian, X-Clan, Public Enemy, Rakim Shabazz, Brother J? Nobody can listen to stuff like that and say that you never got knowledge of yourself. You a damn lie. At some point in your life, you heard my melody. And that's how Allah do shit. You can never say you ain't know no more. You can't say you was ignorant to the fact no more. That's even taken away from you. So what excuse you got now? Observers said that the demand of Muslims to be entitled with the same right of return is just ridiculous. They argued that the Jews' expulsion was bigotry, while the Moorish expulsion was a matter of decolonization. They always got a new rule to keep you out more. You think they give a damn about a Negro going over there? Hell no. Michelle Obama went out there and got the U.S. taxpayers to pay for it. You think she was announced the Moorish history? You think she wasn't doing that? She the black one. Some people say she's actually a used to be a man. Either way, I could give a damn. whatever shim is, she went over there and had no problem with these white people fitting the bill. She was in the Alhambra and all that. He can't do that because he's Scottish. But I don't mean Scottish, Scotia, Colchian, Frixus, a.k.a. Jason and the Golden, and Argonaut story of the Golden Fleece, a.k.a. the ex-colony of that was set up by Sesostris the second. I ain't talking about that type of Scotsman. Scandoon Stone, Scandoon Knights and all that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about these dudes that they putting out to you right now, who all of a sudden always want to be in a dress standing on what they perceive as the square. The square is when your feet is at perfectly particular aspect. You holding them out. These dudes don't do that. They try to stand like the pharaohs without the knowledge. Left foot forward. I also know it's a known fact. You can research it yourself. Shrinerdom don't have nothing to do with Islam. Did you know that? Therefore, the greetings that these Shriners are giving each other, Assalamu alaikum and all that, they are mocking the Moors. You actually mocking us. That sword is not supposed to be above the star, which represents the black woman, which also, or the so-called Egyptian head of the Sphinx. It's not supposed to be at the top. It's supposed to be under it, protecting the lower heaven, the lower realm. You don't put it over it, because when you put it over it, that means that you holding a sword over her head. It has nothing to do with Freemasonry at all. It was founded by Freemasons, but it's not a Freemasonic organization per se. Neither is Scottish Ritism. Neither is Eastern Starism. You as a Moabitess, as a Moorish queen, as a goddess on earth, are the direct descendant of Ruth. So why do you have to go through a ritual to become a daughter of her when you are already her daughter by direct consent and genetic heritage, should you accept it? Putting you through all of these rituals that actually create spiritual blockages from you understanding that that the ritual is really you. Minute aspect of what makes you are is evidence of a universal blueprint that exists within time-space. We were the ones who transcended the triple stage darkness and allowed light to be created. And these niggas is trying to ball or block you out the position to make you doubt it, so that way you don't go correctly through the source of how it's supposed to be, because it is like that. That's why the prophet said in the new future there will be new Moors that will put these old Moors in the back. They will come and fulfill the law, which was the one thing taken out of the temples in 1929 by C. Kirkman Bey. Officer of Army Intelligence. Shriner. And I just told you, Shrinerdom don't have nothing to do with Islam. I got the FBI report that he's a citizen of the United States, lowercase c. And that he took over the organization in 1929. But up until 1928, there were 32,000 members that seemed to just disappear when he took over. So, again, I'm not trying to impugn nobody that's in that system and that school of thought aspect of moral science. I'm not. And don't try to construe it like I am. I'm just keeping it real. That's what it is. You get what I'm saying? Hoover was a Shriner too, but I seen pictures of him with a fez that ain't had no writing on it. So who gave him that? Where'd he get that from? His man on the inside. How you going to be the head of the national organization in 1929, but not with the 32,000 members that was there the year before you took over went? You were part of a whole new organization now. Keep the prophet out front, man. Don't let these niggas turn you into Muslims. Don't let them turn you into some sort of religious zealot, man, dyeing your beard red and all that. Like, don't. All that time is done, man. If that's what they want to do, let them do that. There's a reason why Sunni Islam and all that type of stuff exists. Because they, for whatever reason, believe in Allah, and they believe throwing acid in a woman's face or beating a woman half to death for not covering, putting on her veil when his brother come over. They think that that's somehow venerating Allah. And for some reason, the women agree with that. So if that's where they at, you got to let them be that. You got to be the beacon of hope to show that there is another way, that this is a viable lifestyle. It's Islamic, but falls under Muslim customary law, not Sharia law. Sharia law either still is the law of the Sharif. The Sharifan armies were peopled by the family of the Prophet. The family of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So guess who gave the Prophet the title Sharif Abdul Ali, meaning that he was one of the Sharif, one within the Sharifan army, while he could be designated and given power. Moors, friends, countrymen, lend me your ear. This is the moment. This is the time for you to decide what you want to do, what you want to be a part of. If you want to be RBG, be the best RBG you could be at this point. I'm not going to tell you not to be. If you want to be just straight Yoruba, Budun, you want to do work on people, whatever, be the best dark sorcerer, whatever the hell you think you're doing, be that. Because the quicker you do that, the quicker you're going to take yourself off the planet and allow the real work to be done for those of us that's left that's really trying to really make something happen on this motherfucker and not just get caught up in the pedantic aspect of redundancies. Debating foregone conclusions for what? To look smart in front of dumb niggas? Or look dumb in front of smart niggas? Because that's what really be happening. And I'm telling you this as a lecture. Maybe this is dry snitching or whatever, but keep it real. A lot of these niggas that's doing these lectures should think that stupid. They make jokes and shit about you, about how much money they made off of you this month doing this and doing that. I was around it. I heard it. I saw it. My brother was there. I wasn't going to be a den in a cesspool, a den of vipers like that, and not have family. So again, man, I'm not down for that, because I was the people going to these niggas, asking these niggas, well, if I'm studying more science, why are we having these meetings in this Trowel and Square Lodge? Like, what's up with that? Oh, well, you know, more, we got to go with blah, 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 blah. If this is this and that, like, how are we even having class in a Catholic church? Like, you know what I'm saying? I done seen it all. I done seen it. I done heard it. I done witnessed the I done seen it all. Niggas can't show me paperwork without me telling you what year this shit was done in. That's just how it is. That's why I did that early. And people took what was done and was put out there and then started using that as templates to then market and act like they came up with the formula to do that. And then would gather up on other people's tail, butt up, to get other people to join them and then start shitting on that person to then get their audience and take their thing. That's a tactic. That's not that's a pattern behavior. That's something that is happening purposefully. That's not a random act. This is a methodology being put on you at these places. But hey, if you like it, I love it. You know what I'm saying? That's why in not participating in certain things, it actually says more. I had one person tell me, oh, well, you say all of that because that really means you want to do it. You really want to be out there. I did all of that, man. The whole thing, the street thing, the DVD thing, the radio thing, I did all of that, man. And I'm still doing it. But by no means am I so arrogant to think that I have all the answers that everybody that's listening needs. I only have the ones that I have found for myself and the ones people have asked me to find for them. That's it. I can only be God of my own universe. And in that, I am still enough to the sublime aspect of my higher self, which is the true God. You got these niggas in the movement now who are telling you to be atheists. Atheists. These niggas got grandmothers in the church today. These niggas got baby moms. They atheists, but baby moms is baptizing their children Christian. But they try to do DVDs and lectures to pump that to you. This is how twisted and sick black people are, man. And then ain't no TV show on that. There ain't no Oprah special on that. She don't want this on the OWN network. She only want Bad Girls Club and sex shit. Because she was a dowager dominatrix raised up in the daughters of ISIS. You understand? A grand dame, 32nd and the third degree, through the rail of heroines of Jericho, bringing forth the looms. I'm putting you on a game, man. This is what these people is really dealing with. And they don't care if you know. They'll deny it and admit it at the same time. I love Jesus and I love God and blah, blah, blah. And then by the next 10 minutes they ask us something else and they say, well, I believe, sexuality, is an aspect of, God and all this. This is what they on. And if you're coming from a so-called African cosmogony, of course that's true. Because it all comes from a divine place. But to get to the divinity, you got to have a nationality. If you are under the Christian nation, then you are under the jurisdiction of the fourth vow Jesuit. And that's the Scottish Rite of the Southern jurisdiction. Point blank. And what, it's a coincidence that all of these guys who are in the Congress are also in this group, and they're not discussing anything in the government when they're in the real government, which is at the large and everything else, and all the orgies and rituals and shit these niggas is doing? Moral science is intrinsic. It is something that is not regaled to just a Circle 7 Quran. We are that. The number 7 keep coming up whenever you're dealing with the Moors. This whole thing with going back to Spain, we are the ones that's been talking about that. Super Heru Radio, anybody that's been taking these classes for as long as we've been doing, know that. We're the ones that have been talking about the right of reclamation that they are now calling the right of return. We're them they fed that. Who gonna go get that? Who gonna go get the original flag, the tree flag, out of the vault in Philadelphia? Who gonna do that? Well, so long as you believe that you don't exist, nobody's gonna do that, which means it's gonna stay in that crypt that much longer, right? Right? That's where it's at. That's what's hot in the streets. That's how we're going to be able to survive and get to the point where we can transcend and break through the barrier that exists around this galaxy, Milky Way galaxy, and Andromeda, so that way we can focus, project ourselves all the way out past Rigel, past Arcturus, into the great Virgo supercluster. Are you ready to do that, nigga? Are you ready to do that, bitch? No. because all we want to do is have sex and Popeyes and shit. And then people say, oh, the language. And I really try. But sometimes explicatives is the only way that people can actually resonate and focus on really what I'm saying. And what I'm saying now is existence is no longer enough. You can't just exist in this thing anymore. You're actually going to have to do something. People want this revolution, but they want bloodless coups. They don't want nothing what they actually got to sweat and work for. And so what does the media do with people like myself? They create things like words like rants and fog blogs. This is the new yellow journalism that they're using to break down the fact that all journalism is coming from the damn internet now. All information is coming from the internet. The internet exists in multi-dimensional information accumulated at a hypervelocity that transcends time-space and transfixes itself in the global resonance that is activated with the touch, with the thought that activates the touch. They are creating the black hole internet. There's the black hole internet that you just sit in front of the screen, and before you can even really think about what you want to think, what you're going to think is projected on the screen. We've been doing that. We used to call that scrying. You know what I'm saying? We used to call that reading the tarot, nigga. Like, we've been on all of that. They got to make machines to be what we don't already created out of rocks, man. Oh, they going to come get you. Oh, no, they not, man. Because I'm not saying nothing that they don't know and they don't want you to know. Look at it the opposite. They want you to know. They want you to save them. That's the other thing. They are flirting with nuclear war with Russia right now. It's upon what Vendek, the noble Vendek, the liar, is putting out. No, Vendek, the truth sayer. That's John Snowden. That's the Snowden dude. His pair, he's the Jesus to the John the Baptist, who was the WikiLeaks nigga they just did the movie on. Assange. He was known as Mendek the liar, the noble liar. That was like his handle, his hack name and all of that. Whereas this dude is Vendek, the truth teller, who is really the liar, which also just by the use of those names shows a definite handle handle intelligence. That's how they would get all these people. They were focus groups. That's what games like D&D and all that shit we grew up on. Not everybody played that type of stuff, but I did. But I grew up with a grandmother that was waking me up to watch horror movies at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the night. You understand? So there are parts of me that I'm still working on. Because I was supposed to be programmed to go right along with everything else, right along with my moms, right along with my pops, right along with everybody else. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to toe the line. You're supposed to toe the line and cable the toe. And then walk heel toe through life. Like Kanye said, they want to put us all in styrofoam. That's what they want. Them people he was talking about in that interview and all that, those all the people, those all Rothschild. That's all the sexual ritual people. All the people he was talking about on the Sway Show. He tell on himself. Well, we don't know what he talking about, what he really saying. He was probably berated to all of them. He probably had to submit to all of them at some ritual, some aspect of it. Of course, in Paris, that's where all of they do that. That's where it all goes down at. Are you crazy? It's the city of the lights. They created Napoleon, who was the Obama of that time, to do the things he did. all of this stuff has been laid out already. You don't already lived it all. We don't already live past all of this. We are looking, by the time we look at the stars, you don't know what stars are alive and what stars is dead when you look at sky. Because by the time you see it and the light reaches you, it then got so far away from where it actually was, you're seeing the after effect either way. These niggas ain't ready to be immortal. They not ready to be God. They not ready to exist in a perpetual state of sublime, of the sublime. People don't even use those words. You understand? They've dummied you down. When we look at these shows, Game of Thrones and all of that, they showing you. That's you. These is no white people doing that. Any white man, any actor of the time who actually read a real history book know that all the people was black in the Holy Roman Empire and all that. That's where all the stories come from. The Windsors, the Tudors, the Machiavelli, all of that is Holy Roman Empire shit up until Napoleon. And even then after that, these dirty Moors, Franciscan Moors, as well as dirty Muslim Moors, is working together through their little fake brotherhoods to create this big shit we in right now. And they're still working together. The Muslim Brotherhood was started by the CIA and them after the war, man. These with Arabs who grew up under the Nazi, under the Caliph, who they called the Caliph of Berlin, who was actually a white Jew from Poland that they convinced people was really an imam. And got everybody in the Balkans and the Eastern states to do that. That's why they all Muslims now in Chechnya and all them places. All them people worship the Black Madonna, man. Like, look at what's going on. You are the Sephardic Jew. So you can show and prove that if you have your nationality and stuff straight. So God forbid something went out here. You could actually imagine living in Spain as a Moor in 2014, a real Moor, and the government understand and let you rock like that. Imagine that. Guess what? Niggas is living like that here. Niggas is living like that here now. But they got you thinking it's not like that. And then those people are actually part of real credible, so-called credible temples, or temples that are really functioning with buildings and really nice ornamentation and all that. A lot of their charters and shit ain't right. Because they're not functioning under home office, home rule. They don't know about that. Then you got the ones who say that they are that, who descend from that, who then by their own mouth wanted to dissolve it. So they can't do it. So what they got to do is pass it on to the information, those people who can. And that's us, the new Moors. That's us. That's you. That's your child. The prophet said, I have come for the children and the unborn generations. Marcus Garvey said, up you mighty race. He was the John the Baptist. He did the alley-oop. He was the Shaq who did the alley-oop for Kobe, who was the prophet. So now they've become, this also means, by contrast, we are reaching a certain level of ascendancy or knowledge as Moorish people for this to even tip the balance in the paradigm for them to put out this edict, that they even considering it, or the fact that they did it already. The fact that they did it already means it's a wrap. I know how to do it. I got the flag of 1474 that they've been hiding that descends and is of the Sephardic Moors, a.k.a. Marranos or Jews from that time. I got the flag. So if I send them and the flag of Grenada. So if I send them a letter, I'm going to send them the letter with that flag from my embassy, which is the Moorish Temple of America, Temple 2A. In Ecclesiastical District number 3 in Al-Andalusia. How many niggas could say that? Not one, because niggas can't do that. Only Moors can do that. So I'm not even getting into real ones and fake ones and this one and that one, and this one teach this in my depth chamber, and your I don't even care, man. Niggas can think what they want. Niggas can make whatever, man. Because niggas ain't going to talk to me directly. So it's better just don't talk. Let's just not even do it. Because the ancestors and the stuff that I'm messing with, or that's messing with me, people who do things to us that's not legit, especially after we help them, they don't do well. And again, this ain't a threat, nothing. I don't even have to do nothing. But niggas wind up hurting, and for the rest of their life, they be wondering, why? What did I do? You know what I'm saying? That's why you got to forgive, man. Because once you forgive, then karma can really do its thing. Karma or justice sometimes when you angry. You got to let the anger pass so that way you can become indifferent to it. And then through that, get the forgiveness. Give the forgiveness to the self for not being able to rise to the occasion at that point, which then allows yourself to move forward, which then creates now the ancestors that can act as justice, the Oguns. Legba, he always going to be, ecclesiastical with it. He always going to give it to you in a parable. Ogun, like, no, this is what it is. These niggas is whack. We're going to go bust them in the head with this scimitar because Ogun holds a scimitar. Just like Obatala wears a burnous, the ceremonial garb, again, of the Moors. So if the Moors was from Africa, where they at in Africa? When have you ever, as a child or now, ever heard somebody from Africa referring to themselves as Moors or whatever, other than, again, the Mataboot and all of that? But you got to even know that that's even Moorish. Some people don't even know that the Tamazit and the Guana and the Mataboot and all that is Moorish science. You don't. Which means that when they say North Africa, they talk about North America, because the only people I see where Moors is at is here. Or people claiming that is here. So whether people wanted to accept it being real or not, whatever, it's real. It's a coincidence that in January 8th, 1921, the father of Abdul Aziz, the Sultan that you see in the Circle 7 Quran, set up the Sultanate of the Hijaz and the Najd, backed by the Sharifan armies. Then 7 years later, in 1928, 6 years later, 1928, a man born on January 8th, who was given the title Sharif Abdul Ali, being in the whole thing, Ali also being the name of the heir, the successor of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, descendant of David, Isa, Musa, Noah, Cush, everybody else, going all the way back to the two clan Mawayati, the Eels and the Bays. It's so magnanimous that if you're not really ready, it'll overtake you. That's why the prophet says, you can't tear what I gave you up. It'll tear you up before you tear it up. You can't dissolve this. You can't destroy this. You can't tell me that I'm not this, or they can't tell you that you're not that. They can't. Nobody can tell you what you are unless you allow them to. But again, man, this is also entertainment for people. For some people, it's homework. For some people, it's entertainment. For some people, they get riled up and then want to do tapes or whatever, but then decide not to, which is great, because I'm not into all of that. Man, you know what I'm saying? It's getting to a point where I be walking out the street and I be seeing people sometimes, and they don't even have, they just be like shapes. They don't even really have no depth no more. I'm like Dr. Manhattan looking at the tie and looking at the shirt yo, this shit is crazy. This shit is just not even real. But I can feel it. I can see it. I'm on it like that, yo. You know what I'm saying? That nigga was so free. He did the whole movie in the nude. How many niggas is that evolved? Not me. Not yet. You know what I'm saying? But again, he was the Amen. He was hidden. He was the hidden one in the movie. He represented the blue blood, the black nobility, which is why he had on black shorts at some points. But he didn't want to allow the humans to be scared of him. So there was an aspect of him that wasn't sure that he was God. But in the movie, he decided he was going to go start life somewhere. How you not God, but then you're going to start life? You see what I'm saying? But he killed Rorschach in the movie, where Rorschach represents the noble. He represents the one that's willing to do the truth regardless. But Night Owl represented the so-called Bohemian Club and them type of people, them ritual people. Working with Silk Spectre, who represented the whole Daughters of the American Revolution, who represented the aspect of the white slut that is given the prom queen status or is made first lady and stuff like that, and eventually gets turned out to the point she becomes a dyke. Like the whole, because look at how her mother was positioned in the movie. That's who her mother was. You see what I'm saying? So the truthful one, the Wolverine in it, again, was Rorschach, the detective, the one who's searching for the truth. That was his ultimate thing. Night Owl was kind of in it based on the mythology. Silk Spectre was in it because she was a legacy. Dr. Manhattan was in it because he died, and because he was resurrected himself in the place that these people controlled, he kind of fell under their control. So essentially, it becomes the basis of how and why people are put against each other. Each one of those characters represent the killing of that aspect of the truth, and then agreeing to preserve the lie. You got to get out of that, man. Real talk. The only other way is, again, to accept the fact that whatever you decide you are, whoever you decide to be, is only going to be as relevant to the world as you make it. You know what I'm saying? It becomes a system by which people preserve themselves by their own level of involvement, by what they want to perceive as being the thing that people want to remember you by. But these children today are being bred not to even think they can have a future. They're just entrained because they're growing up in a pre-battleground. When it does go down in America, in the United States, it's going to be epic. And they're setting this thing up right now with this whole Ukraine thing and this China thing. This is a deliberate affront in diplomacy. So that's why I see that these out strategies are being made for people who are not party or from an ancient tenure. So this whole thing with Spain, that is basically the first step, because the same holds true in Bavaria. If you can do that in Spain, that means that you should be able to have a Bavarian passport as well, due to the fact that Bavaria was part of the Holy Roman Empire, and that was in allegiance and in league with the Moors, and we are connected to that through King George III by blood, who was the Prince-elect of the Holy Roman Empire, also known as King of the Romans, which means any law that holds that position as creditor over the United States can assume that title. Mm-hmm. Yep. So this has become the instance where everybody, like I said, chooses their level of involvement. My level of involvement is you already know. You already hear it. You already see it. And, again, it's not for everybody. And all of this, again, if we could put out a disclaimer or whatever in Super Heru Radio, all of this is opinion based upon the facts research. Therefore, you could take it or leave it. You could learn from it or not. You could be offended by it or not. You can use it as a teacher tool or whatever or not. It's up to you. So any support given me or any lack of support given me, you see what I'm saying? Or any lack of support given to me is indicative they're willing to do, because some people, feel whatever. But one thing we've always prided ourselves on is that there is no hate. I have no enemies because I am under the jurisdiction and protection of the Mother, Father, God, the most sublime creator of this, creatrix of this universe, that there is nothing outside of its original scheme, and that has given us so much that it has allowed us, or some of us, to believe that it don't exist. So for those of us that do know that it exists, we are protected and enshrouded. This is the blood of the Lamb that they talk about. Check out Truth Be Told, coming out on Wednesday. It's on YouTube. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Okay. Definitely check out Truth Be Told. Our third episode is going to be great. And like I said, it's more of a dialogue. And it's something that definitely should be shared. And anybody wants to donate to the show, as well as us, as well as what we're striving to build out here, you could do so through PayPal at ducateers@gmail.com. You can also get some sort of, you could also www.aseertheducateers.com, as well as cookingmorewithless.com. You could also check out www.sagassad.com. And if you want to hit me up for consultations, bookings, lectures, shows, you can hit me up, or even Selena up at houseofl@hotmail.com. And that's about it, man. Like I said, hit me up at House of L. Definitely do the knowledge to some of the topics and the things that we discussed tonight. You could definitely hit me up again. Any sort of national conversation, we can set up a primary consultation and get into the direct ascendancy of this. And inshallah, we pray for those of us who are falling victim to the fortunate ravages of mental illness, as well as depression, as well as some of the things that we as black people don't sometimes do the knowledge to. When I say black people, I'm talking about triple stage darkness, who come from that triple stage black, as well as those who fall under the black Negro color thing. Two halves of the same whole, because a lot of us used to be that ignorant, and it came into knowledge, and some of us got this knowledge and then became more ignorant. So let's not judge each other. Let's work together however we can, but being different enough to say enough is enough and move forward to do the work. So definitely check us out. Truth Be Told, it's going to be dope. Peace.